This is a great webinar series. We're doing a whole series on social media. Why? Because we can. I'm just waiting for the Twitter one. We don't have a Twitter one yet, but we're going to do a Twitter one. I know we're going to do one, right, Jessica?
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do it. What happened to Jeff Howard? Okay. What we're going to do, guys, is everybody's going to move your mouse, please. You're going to see the bottom of your screen, that's green share screen button. Go over to the left, the chat box. Do me a favor, type in where you are from. I see Mary from Arnold, Maryland. I want to read your chats. That sounds a little obscene. But anyway, I want to read your chats because we love questions. These are your webinars. They are free webinars. They're for you. They're recorded. You'll get it tomorrow night. Anything we talk about that's unique, we put links in the chat box for you. We'll put links on the recordings for you. Share it. Do whatever you want to do with it. It's great. Okay. Here we're going to talk about social media series, our Facebook. The reigning champ of social media platforms, Facebook. Not anymore, but it's still important. Feeling lost on what to post, how often to post, what your market wants. Join this looking at the analytics, the business pages, the groups, and more. We're going to talk a little bit about brand identity on this platform, and we're going to talk about, hate to say it, I know it's a bad word. This is what my son used to say. That's a bad word. Money. How to make money on Facebook. Send your kids to college. Put food on the table. Nothing wrong with that, girlfriends and boyfriends. Jessica Maurer is joining us. She finds a passion in fitness education. She concentrates her energy in program development. She's very instrumental in Fit for Mom. She is also a social media and online manager for several top and well-known fitness personality and brands. I always share this with her. We started working with Jessica after she did our keynote on social media at, was it DC or Boston?
DC.
DC. And so we've learned a lot. Jeff Howard is a world-renowned fitness presenter and celebrity trainer. He's pioneer instructor at the Golden Door Spa. If you look at him, do you see the background? He's in Utah. I'm in Colorado. He's in Utah. He's doing, what is it, the Housewives of Utah?
Yeah, the Housewives of Salt Lake City.
No, he's training them. I'm sure he's like touching them and doing things. Who knows? So he's been in countless videos. He's on the SCW faculty, as is Jessica, running certifications for us. And he's been in the fitness industry far more than just a decade. I won't go into it. Marisa Hoff is absolutely lovely. She is a wonderful presenter and faculty member for our live stream mania conferences. She also is highlighted very frequently in our health and fitness business summits, which are really focused on owners and managers. And she shares proven strategies and profound experiences at various conferences throughout the country. And she really helps club owners achieve their goals and results. She does a lot of consulting and works in different business genres. So we're going to dive right in. We've got about, oh my goodness, about 160 people registered. I think we're going to get about 60, 70 to show up. And then the rest watch this on a recording. So hello, recorded folks. We have Marisa Hoff, we have Jessica Maurer, we have Jeff Howard. How can I specifically drive revenue through Facebook? I know you're pretty opinionated on this, Jeffrey. You go.
Okay, so for me, I'm a firm believer in asking for money. What do I mean? When you guys are teaching on Facebook, I want you to tell them, thank you for the donation. And they haven't even given you a donation yet, but you've planted the seed, okay? Or you're gonna actually say, if you like anything I do, this class is worth $10. And you're going to put your Venmo and your PayPal on it. But there's nothing wrong with asking for money. There's nothing wrong with it. Even when we were open in our clubs, we wouldn't ask for money. And we've got to ask for money. Okay?
Very good. Marissa.
Yes. There's tons of ways to make money in Facebook, right? I think more importantly is you got to get your brand out there, right? No one's going to buy stuff from you if you only have a couple followers. So you have to create great engaging content that's going to be valuable to people, and then you're going to engage with them. So the more people that you have that like your product, the more likely you are to show off your products and your services and all those good things that you have to offer your audience.
And I think that's very interesting. I like the way Jeffrey has said, okay, you've already got these people. Now basically soak them. Okay, that's unkind. I'm sorry, I'm not a very kind person. But you've got these people. How are we going to then get them to engage and support us? Because we provide a very valuable wellness service. And then what Marissa's talking about is how do we get more eyes so that then we can engage with them. Okay, so yes, Stacy, you did see Jeffrey on Housewives of Salt Lake City. That's why he's in Salt Lake City.
We're on season 2.
He's going to post some stuff on Facebook and Instagram for us after the show that we probably should never see. And Jessica, you and I and a lot of the SCW team have been looking at how to track our successes on Facebook. And please share with us what you've discovered.
So we know that on Facebook, you can always track engagement through likes, through followers, through comments. In fact, when you have a Facebook business page, you have an overview of all of your back-end analytics and insights that tell you what's happening with your followers. However, what's hard to track is how do you get your followers to come off of Facebook and go to your store and purchase something from you? And that is where it gets a little muddy in the Facebook world. Tracking that aspect of things can be kind of difficult. Facebook's really great at helping you track how many likes you have, how many followers you have, how many comments you get each week. What Facebook's not too great at is do those likes actually turn into customers? You need outside resources and additional parties to be able to tie in that side of your analytics and really find out what your conversion rate is. To Jeff's point though, asking people, making sure that they know that you have products, you have sales, you have things that are happening. This is my Venmo, this is my website, this is where my store is, this is where you can buy this is where you can register. All of those are super useful. And if you're using all of the tools that Facebook allows you, events, groups, offers, pages, and profiles, it's a great way for you to reach many people and let them know what you have to offer.
Yes, and that's so important. And we've also done some research on the ads and placing pixels on your website to see if the social media is really being tracked and if people are registering for your classes, registering for, let's say, your seminars, taking on a membership, if it's really happening. I'm going to tell you, how many hours did we spend between like 3 or 4 of us, Jessica?
Probably 20 hours.
20 hours. And we're not stupid people. We went in and it's just a convoluted mess. And maybe they'll clear it out. So I will tell you, if you want to track your successes and you're going to post an image, use a discount code that's unique that then you can track. And you can say, use social 20, save 20% off my next group of classes, or my next personal training session, or refer a friend and use refer 20, and the two of you will end up saving that 20% or that $20. Because the codes you can track, it's a little old fashioned, but it works pretty well. And people are like, oh my gosh, how do I create images? You know what? You don't have to create sophisticated images. You put like a piece of paper that somebody did a crayon drawing that says 20% off and take a picture of yourself. And there you go. You've got a social media image that you can post. Now, one thing I'm going to ask is, I'm going to ask you, this is a little bit of an aside. I have a dog that exercises with, it's all about me, right? I have a dog that exercises with me when I teach. And sometimes I forget to put him in the bedroom and I'm teaching on Zoom and I have these people watching. And I'll actually have people ask me, where was the dog today? And other times I have the dog like sitting there doing downward dog with me, doing poses. Is it important for me to stay personal, or should I really try to strive more professional during this time period? Where do you think the industry is going to go, Jeffrey?
Okay, so it's funny you say that. I think because of what's happened with COVID, people are wanting more of a human kindness or human nature in what we're doing. And I started teaching part blank. I mean, when COVID hit, I started, and I had my partner with me who was 12 years older. And then I started having more and more people be backup. And the people that were watching would miss them if they weren't there. And we've also had a dog in our stuff and all that. I think it depends on if you're doing something for a brand. Let's say you're doing something for Pepsi or something like that. I think that you could maybe do more of a polished program. But I think that for what we're doing, I think personalization, I think they like it. I really think with COVID, they're looking for that human connection. And I think there's nothing wrong with your dog coming out. It makes you look human. And I think that they're looking for exactly. I mean, people love Teddy, the dog that's not mine. It's the housewife. We got it during COVID and then we got stuck with it for a while. It's not mine. Go ahead.
Jessica,
What do you guys think? Yeah.
Jessica, what are your thoughts on that?
I think he hit the nail on the head when he said it depends on if you're doing it for a brand. If it's a big company brand that is supposed to have a particular voice and a particular style, that's one thing. If it's a personalized brand where they're getting to know you as the trainer or you as the group fitness instructor, then you can definitely play into the fact of being personal. That's what they're looking for. That is what makes you different from Peloton and Apple Music, is that your Peloton's not going to have a dog that walks in. They're not going to get to know your spouse. They're not going to get to see your house and what you're doing and your kids. They're going to have a very polished look. And if that's your brand, your studio, your gym, then that's the way to go. Then stay off of the personal and be that professional side. But for most of us as fitness professionals and fitness fanatics who become entrepreneurs, they want to see a little bit of who you are as a human.
Marisa, what do you think about this? Because
So, my background comes from, I ran a club for 10 years, and so I'm speaking to a large member base. I'm launching another brand right now. And so I think it's one thing when you're a solopreneur and you're doing this. And I think Jessica really touched on that really well. You've got lots of brands that have different personalities, right? So you guys might know Discover Strength in Minneapolis, right? They are very professional, they're very scientifically based, and that's what all their posts are about. That doesn't mean they're not human, that they're not personal, but they have a certain look. Whereas Mark Fisher Fitness in New York, they're completely opposite. They're both brands that do a great job, but they're all about unicorns and ninjas and they do like the porn star pose and all kinds of stuff. Completely different, but they're consistent with their brand, and I think that's what's most important.
oh, that's very interesting. I think that's very wise. We've got a lot of people commenting that they like Teddy the dog. Some people like Lila, her puppy, and that is important. I always find that there is going to be a balance, because if people are going to come back to a gym and spend $100 a month, do they want to see your dog? I'm not quite sure. And that is an important question. Should I have a personal profile, a business page, or should I have both? Marissa, what do you think about that?
We were talking about this earlier. I think we all agree that both is really important. There was a time not long ago where people were trying to sneak the algorithm by pretending that they're just going to use their personal page and get up to the 5,000 likes, but they weren't going to be constricted by some of the issues with the algorithm. And we found that there's so many great tools that Jeff and Jessica can touch upon that you get as a business. And by the way, no one is tricking Facebook. If you think you're hiding your business from Facebook by just using a personal profile, then we have a lot of talking to do in just that sense.
Oh, that does make sense. We are getting a little bit of buzzing. Mike Lieber, do you know where that's coming from? If you can check it out. We have a wonderful cinematographer, Mike Lieber, who helps run our webinars. Jessica, what are your thoughts on the personal profile, the business page, or both?
I think that you should have both, because you can really play into your personal friends, your personal family. You can stay a human person with your profile, but your business page is where you're going to be able to express your brand. You're going to be able to tell them what kind of products you have, what offers you're having, and what events you have coming up. But Facebook also will reward you for having both and for allowing them to be able to look on the inside of your business page. So they're tracking usage of Facebook by your users. So they're looking at their analytics based on your analytics. So they're going to give you this backdoor access for you to be able to see when are your people online? When are they on Facebook? What day are they not on Facebook? What day could you say, you know what, I'm going to take off social media today because according to the statistic, no one's online anyway. They'll also be able to tell you what posts are doing well. So you can see if you spent all this time making this beautiful video and no one liked it and you didn't get much engagement on it, you don't need to waste time making that video anymore. Maybe there are people like posts, photo posts more. Maybe they like little gifs. Maybe they like memes. They can really tailor it to your clientele so that you're not just being reactive, you're being really strategic and using content that you know your people like.
Now, you had a very wise suggestion that we've actually integrated and been successful with. You said, don't just create one thing and then like let it fall away. You're shaking your head. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So batch create. So if you know that you're onto something, you don't make one cupcake at a time. You make 12 cupcakes. Well, the same with social media. If you know you have something that works, make 12 of them all at once or 4 of them all at once, and batch create as many as you can and store it so you can go back and use it over and over again. Here's the other thing is if you post it on Monday, go back and interact with it later on in the day or even the next day. It will boost it up so more people will see it. So you're kind of recycling the content you just posted and getting new fresh eyes on it.
And what is the difference between a personal page or a business page and a group page?
So a personal page is where a personal profile is where people are your friends. And then a business page is where people like you. A group is where they have kind of volunteered and said, I want to be a part of this small bubble and I want to hear from you and all of the people involved in this bubble at all times. It's kind of like taking a big subset of the page and consolidating it down to a small thing. So Jeff does this really well because he has his business page, but then he has this group of just membership people. They volunteered and said, I will pay you money. I want access to your videos. They get put into a group. That way it's not open to the public. They're paying a premium to be into that certain Facebook group. So pages, those are likes. Groups, they are volunteers.
And Jeff, tell me how that's working for you.
You know, it's funny. Like we said, I kind of gave it away at first, and I had a business page and I had a personal page, and I did more of my personal page. But then once I needed to start bringing them back into a group, I just said, okay, I'm doing a group now for Group X, and it's called Athletes Club, Jeff Howard's Athlete Clubs. And I'll be honest with you, it's funny. It's amazing how it's grown. I'm doing very well right now. Like I did a promotion for 3 months I charged $29.95 a month to come into the club. And the cool thing about it, you guys, is you then can know if somebody hasn't paid, then you can just get them out of the club. But the funniest thing is, Sarah, it's interesting to me. A lot of times it's a charge card problem because I'll reach out to them. I'll just say, hey, is everything okay with your membership? Is there anything I can work on? And then they respond back, oh, my credit card was weird. And then they re-enter it. So for me, it's interesting how every month I get more and more and more. And I haven't really, you'll lose one, but you'll gain one. It's this amazing thing that happens.
And that's really nice. We do a Water in Motion Facebook group, and all the instructors have to be certified, have to be with a licensed club. And you actually have an administrator that goes through and accepts people or frankly rejects people. And that's how you're able to manage this group, right, Jeff?
Exactly the same way. It's interactive. It's something that, and then to boost it this month, I've launched the month of February that take a picture every time you work out with me, before, after, or during. If they don't want to take a picture of themselves, just the mat or the screen, put it on their social media, tagging me, put it on the page, the private page as well. And then I'm going to give them a prize at the end of the month who has the most pictures that they've posted. And it's causing a real camaraderie in the group again, but it's also bringing a lot of people to my page again or wanting to know what I'm about because it's like you, Sarah, they don't know who I am and they keep saying this Jeff Howard, who is he, what's going on? They then want to join it. And the prize is going to be something like a yoga block and some tubing. Like it's not going to be, but they want that. I mean, it's a competition, but it's not a competition.
And Marisa, how do you manage these groups if you're a club owner or manager, whether it's a club of 20 people or 2,000 people? What's the value in developing these groups? And should we have like 20 different groups, or is there a number that is a good target for us?
I'm so glad you asked because that's really important. So when we had Stevenson Fitness, we had about 2,500 members, and there was a big page. But we also did different ways to engage our members and form these little sub communities that you guys kind of touched upon. So our run club had a group and they engaged. And it might be that if you're at a bigger setting, you have someone that's in charge of that. That was our run club coach. We had a morning maniacs page that was just people who worked out early. When we did a weight loss challenge, this was great because we were giving nutrition information, stuff that was only appropriate for them. Now we're launching the Military Fit here in LA, and our size is going to be 150 people, maybe 200. So I'm not going to have a group. And the reason why is I don't want to create content for a page and a group. I have a client right now that is doing an amazing job, but she has such great engagement on her members only page. They're posting about all their transformation and how much weight they lost and how much they love their trainers. No one else is seeing that other than the members. I mean, it's fabulous that the members see that and they stay engaged and retain. But man, I'd like to see all the other 30,000 people in the community see what these people are posting about. So for me, it really depends on the size of your club and what your goals are. Now, if you're doing a members only page where you're providing content for a fee, then 100% you have to have a group. So it really depends on your goals and how much you're willing to spend on creating content, which is a lot. So if you double it with groups, then it can become overwhelming.
And that, I find that fascinating because you're preaching to the choir. You're preaching to already your church members, okay? When you have that group. We found that to be the case with an app. Like there's certain conferences that have event apps, okay? Or you can have an app for your health club. And then you can post photos in the app. Well, I don't want the people who are already members to see my already photos. I want their friends and their family members. I want to grow my membership. So I think that's kind of the same thought here is, yes, it's great to have an app as a club because you can shoot information and shoot valuable information out. Like even if there's a group of 20 that's just every morning 5 a.m. cycle, if the teacher's sick and the door's locked or frozen shut, not you people in California, hate you very much, Marisa, but they know you can send them information. So that's really, really valuable. Now, this is interesting because I'm sure we're going to get a wide variety of responses. What type of content does best on Facebook? Now, I know you do a lot of Instagram, Jeff. I know you do a lot of Facebook. I'm not sure if you're as into LinkedIn, but what type of content for you does best on Facebook?
That's a great question. For me, it's funny. I followed our good friend Jessica's lead in this, and she's always told me to do business posts on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And what does that mean? Show your schedule, show an exercise, show something that is gearing them towards your business. But then on Tuesday and Thursday, that's where maybe you go a little softer and you do something that is just soft. And so for me, I find that my ads that have actually movement in them get a lot more response than a meme that has just words. If I have movement going on in a little video, a boomerang, there's so many filters now that come in and out. I get so much more response with that, it seems, than just a set. And it's funny, I do a lot with my stories. Rather than putting them on my main page, I do stories because a lot of people now go through their stories. They just like slide through. And so I tend to get a lot of response that way.
Very good. Marisa, what are your thoughts on that? And what type of content does real well on Facebook?
I mean, we'll talk a little bit about insights. So it's going to really depend on your business, right? Stats and research are showing that live was huge in 2020 and is going to be a big push. We've been hearing video for a long time. And Jeff made me think about when we had Stevenson Fitness. Anytime we tagged members or staff and made it more about the people within the club, huge through the roof engagement. And that's our challenge right now as we're prepping to launch this new product. We don't have any members yet. So the content that we're creating is less than it was before. So I'm excited to have people that I can feature. But currently, with the last month, we just launched a month ago on social. Uh, our workout videos, we do Workout Wednesday. Those are by far our most liked content. And we do carousels on Instagram and videos on Facebook. I mean, it's double the work, but right now, when we don't have a lot of people to feature, that's been really great.
And Jeff, do you feature a lot of your members?
I do feature a lot of my members. I try to feature a lot of my members, but I'm really about them tagging and sharing. My hashtag is give the gift of fitness. And so that's kind of what I keep telling them to do. So they keep doing hashtag and they share it on their pages. And so I'm all about tagging and giving it away a little bit, but having them tag themselves, progress, what they like, what they don't like. And I ask them all the time, what do you want to know? What your butt exercise do you want to know? I do a lot of that, asking them what they would like to see and then feeding upon it. What I want to say also, Marisa, it was cool what we did when we got a new piece of equipment or something. We did a little thing where it was like a black screen and we showed a part of what the equipment was. And we said, guess what it is? And then the next post maybe would be a bigger part and then a bigger part. So they would be interactive and it was like a big reveal. Now, granted, it was only a new spinning bike, but it's interesting the interaction that can happen.
That's fantastic. I can do that with any new product, whether it's new apparel that you're bringing in or even like a new format that you're just little pieces of the puzzle to tease.
Yeah.
I think you should do that with the new faculty that you've hired.
Just here's a little piece of their cheek.
No, it's a little piece. We won't talk about the different pieces. Okay. Jessica, what type of content do you think does best? Because you do Fit for Mom, you help SCW. What have you found works in these different arenas?
So I feel like Jeff and Marisa took my talking points. So I'm I agree with everything they just said. I think what we see the difference between Instagram and Facebook is that Facebook people will take the time to read and watch things. So they will watch longer videos. They will read longer captions. They want to engage more, learn more. They want to be educated. And that works really well on Facebook. What we see that doesn't work well on Instagram. Instagram, it's got to be instant gratification. It's short, it's sweet. Carousels work really well because they're instant little moments. Stories work really well because they're instant little moments. But in Facebook, you can really take your time. You can have longer pieces of content. You can have longer pieces of captions for them to read. You can make it a series. People will follow along if you're like, here's tip 1 and tomorrow I'm going to show you tip 2 and then I'm going to show you tip 3. They'll actually go on a journey with you as long as they find that the information answers a pain point. So if you know your target market and you're answering a question that they constantly have or speaking to a pain point of theirs, the content that you put out on Facebook can be long and lengthy. Instagram, super short and to the point.
And that leads right into owner. I'm sure she's got a first name or he's got a first name. Should you post the same post, Jessica, on Facebook and Instagram? It says on the game day, which I'm sure meant the Super Bowl, but I think it means the
same day. Yeah.
Same day, game day. That's the same thing. I think that you can use the same content, you just present it differently. So the Facebook video can be much longer, but what you would want to do on Instagram is instead of showing the entire 5-minute workout, you put it through an app that speeds it up really fast and put it on Instagram. So it looks like you're moving in, triple time. But on Facebook, you could actually use the legit actual workout. I think that's the two big differences is Facebook, they're going to spend more time on it, actually reading. That tends to be that clientele. And Instagram, it needs to be short, sweet, sped up, fast, to the point.
What are the apps you use to speed things up? Because I think that's great. Like those the time crunches that you can do. It's fun because you get to see this fast workout. It's like, I don't have patience. I have no patience.
Don't you wonder, do I burn the same amount of calories if I just watch you move that fast as if you do it? So I really like, there's a program that I use on the Mac that's called ScreenFlow. And it works really well. iMovie works really well on iPhones to do this really simple app. Another one that is really fun to use is called Pick, Post, Play, because you're able to speed it up. You're able to add text to it. You're able to make it look like a slideshow. You can take photos and make it into a video instead of it being video content. So it goes even faster. You can even turn it into like a boomerang. So Pick, Post, Play is really fun. ScreenFlow, super easy to use. And so is iMovie.
And Mike from SCW just posted it. It's telestream.net/screenflow. And then you also said pick, play, post.
Yes, and that's PIC, pick, play, post. And that's another really fun one. And that one allows you to actually split your screen into different diagrams. So if you wanted to make 4 videos on one page, you could do that. You could speed it up. You can add some music. You can make a lot of collages and fun posts out of that.
Yes.
And I want to add, I want to add that like this, the pick, play, post is what I use. You know, when we do our certifications with Sara, I put the graphics that they make for us, and I put where it's about or the time, but then I do a video and I explain it more so when I invite them. And I've always had a better response by doing that. Even with everything I'm doing now with my own Facebook private page, I normally do something like that where I'm showing an exercise, but then I ask them for what I want. It's a call of action. You give them something, but then you do a call of action and tell them, remember, I'm here and I need money. So follow me this way. Okay. But it's an easy application. I mean, pick, play, post. If you're not savvy at all, for me, it is the simplest thing to do. And Jessica has always said this, which I love, is, you know, when you connect your Instagram and Facebook together, and you were to probably, you know, you can't share them. You have to do 2 separate posts, because otherwise it gets confused as being a robot doing it. Explain it better, Jessica. I just butchered that, I think.
I mean, no. So what Jeff was saying is you can link your Instagram and your Facebook.
He butchered it.
Yeah. So you can link your Instagram and Facebook together. What you don't want to do that. You don't want Instagram to be posting on Facebook for you. So instead of linking it through, go into Instagram and post organically, go into Facebook and post organically. Even if the captions are the same, even if the content's the same, you can still need to log into 2 separate apps to post in order for it to really see that you're organically being social.
And Marisa.
Just to add to that, Lisa, if you're just getting started, it's overwhelming to be creating so much content. So as I said, we just started a month ago for this brand. I'm the only one doing social media. So I'm doing similar topics like we just said for Instagram and Facebook. I might change the methodology. So like a carousel for one and a video for the other. But down the line, my ideal would be someone else would be doing Instagram and I would be doing Facebook, or vice versa, because I would want to have a different flair. As a user, if I'm following the same people and I'm following them on Insta and Facebook, I don't like to see double the content. But that's like a down the line kind of thing. You know, I'd love to see something more creative, but that would be if you have resources and, you know, bigger staff to pull from.
But that's very interesting, because what people don't understand, Marisa was running the social media for this very large business. And then boom, a month ago, she's starting doing it for a brand new business. And that just is going to happen. That happens to all of us. Don't be afraid to start. Just start. And no, you're going to mess up. You know, it's going to be difficult. You're going to post things. Oh my gosh, I once posted this picture of my son. I'm like, how do I get this off? I have one son that every time I take a photo of him, he flips me the finger. I won't say which finger, but he's always, you know which kid it is, Jeffrey, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
So he does this all the time. And I posted it, and then I looked at it and I went, oh my gosh, everybody's going to see this. And I threw my phone at Zach and he had to take it off for me. You're going to make mistakes, but you should try it. So the recommendation is, do not run the same identical imagery or messages from Instagram and Facebook. Facebook can be a little slower. You can go deeper into your stories on things. Instagram, they want short, they want sweet. When we post a video, we really want a 30-second video going on Instagram, maybe even 15 seconds, and we'll do a full minute on Facebook. And giving things away, showing the exercises, I totally agree, are completely important. As SCW, you know, we started doing all these webinars for free. Do you want to know how many webinars we've done? I've done 65 webinars since March of 2021. 65. We do about 2 a week. Craziness, absolute craziness. But giving away really does, for one thing, it feels really good. And it's kind of who we are, right? We're just teachers and it's what we do, but it keeps people engaged and it drives them to where they really do see the value in what we offer. Now, what demographic, Jessica, is mostly on Facebook as opposed to Instagram? This was asked by, I think it was Carolyn asked this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so it's a great question. Right now, what we tend to see is the biggest demographic on Facebook is that 35-year-old male. However, that doesn't mean that they're actually on Facebook that much. That means that they have the most accounts. But the people who actually use Facebook the most tend to be 55 and older, and it's pretty split between the genders of that age. So if you're really looking for the active aging, you're going to find them on Facebook. You're not going to find them on other platforms.
Marisa, what are your thoughts on that, on the different demographics, age groups?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty set. We kind of progress. Like, I like Instagram better now, but as soon as I can get my hands on TikTok, that's where I'm going to be. And then my daughter's going to leave TikTok, so we're kind of moving around in the ones. And I did want to get back to Lisa. She had a question earlier about how much time it takes. And Jessica always talks about this really eloquently. You focus on one versus the other. So Carolyn, for your age group, I would definitely focus on just doing Facebook and getting started. And even just 3 posts a week on one platform will make a difference. So that might mean a couple hours. I mean, you do want to spend half your time engaging with people. So responding to comments, engaging with others as a business. So we're a brand new business. I'm liking all the other local businesses in my area. Anyone who follows us on Facebook, I'm responding, and I'm trying to find like businesses. So remember, you're planning and then you're also engaging. That's important. And it could be as few as a couple, 3 hours a week. And then as you get more comfortable, you can speed that up.
And that's fascinating because we always think Instagram is for the young and Facebook is for the old. Yet, Stacy just said most grandparents I work with are on Instagram only. And what's unique is people pick one or the other. We were just chatting, Jessica and I were talking about Melissa Lane. We can't get her on Instagram to save our lives. She is totally embedded in Facebook, but people will look for her on Facebook. Now, Jeffrey, where do you find your engagement? Are you getting more on Instagram, more on Facebook, or is it a split?
It's funny. I have a huge following on Instagram because Facebook won't only allow X amount. So I get a lot of engagement on Instagram, but remember, my business is all based on Facebook. So my group is in Facebook. So even though I get a lot of traction in Instagram, I'm always bringing them back to Facebook to join my page. So for me, it's interesting. I feel more comfortable on Facebook, to be honest with you guys, just because it's something, and I want to go back to all of us. If you're authentic with what you're going to say or do, you're always going to come across authentic. And I think that people feel that, and they can feel that with your ads, what you're saying, and so on, all that. But Instagram was always for me. I get a lot more traction. I get a lot more play with it. And we've all counted on this. You guys, you have to make comments. If somebody comments on you, you have to react to it, even if it's a heart, a thumbs up, agreed, a yes, because it pushes your algorithm so the post goes to the very top again. I normally will post something at lunchtime, but by the evening, I'll go back and I'll comment myself on my own post, either where my club is located or hashtag the things I like to say or something, and it pushes it back up to the top. So your ad, and don't forget, you can use your ads more than once. I mean, when you start to do your ads, don't get rid of them. Keep them on your camera roll or wherever you keep them and bring them back out. There's nothing wrong with bringing it back in 3 months because people haven't seen it perhaps.
Or bringing it back the next year. I mean, sometimes, as a teacher, if I get crunched for, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I have to do something for the holidays. And I've got like kids here and we're talking about who's going to get the vaccine and blah, blah, blah. One of our best posts we've ever done were 3 skeletons it was Halloween. It wasn't the Christmas, it was Halloween. 3 skeletons doing a Warrior 2 on somebody's lawn. And I've used it now for 3 years. So don't tell anybody if you see it again. But it does work. Reusing things is not such a bad thing to do. And Stacy just commented, she said, actually what she meant to say was the reason the grandparents are on Instagram is because they want to connect with their grandchildren. So I thought that was really good. What are some tips to employ on Facebook that most people miss? Like, what's a little twisty thing? I think, Jeffrey, you just shared one, going back and even commenting on your own comments or commenting on the people that'll push the algorithm back up. Marissa, what are some little tips that you might share?
I think we've talked about this before, but there is a way for you, whether you're an individual, a group, or a page, to have people see your posts first. So whenever I get a new member in my club or a new training client, you're going to tell them, go to my page, go to my group. And there's in the, depending on where it is, it's the little three dots at the top. If you're a page, you can have them say, I'd like to see you at the top of my newsfeed. So it's more likely that you're going to be seen by them. If it's a group, same thing. You can go to that little notifications tab, and they can say, like, notify me sometimes, maybe, or every time someone posts in the group, notify me. So you're going to tell your people to do this. You could reward them with some little tchotchke. And even as an individual, you can have favorites. So, it may be that I don't interact with Jessica a lot on Facebook, but I want to see all her posts because they're amazing. I'm going to put her as one of my favorites so that I make sure that she always pops up in my newsfeed. And that's something that you tell your people to do. You train them to do it, and then you'll be, boosting the algorithm chance a little bit more.
And that's really important to do. And you can do that through an email. You can do that through a text message, taking a screenshot, showing them where the three buttons are, and engaging with them and drawing them in. We found through SCW, what we have to do is we had to train people how to use Zoom. I honestly think we have probably trained about 20,000 fitness professionals on how to use Zoom through our video tours that we do for the conferences, and also just in general, just helping people out. But train them how to do that. Top right corner, three dots. Love to hear it. Jessica, what would be a recommendation, a little secret that most people miss?
I think people don't use their insights enough. Once you have that business page and it gives you all of the details that you need to know about what posts are working, so that you're not spinning your wheels and posting the same content that's not getting to your people. I think using the insights to tell you what time to post is really valuable because you might be up at 6 a.m. ready to teach your cycle class, but your clientele aren't on Facebook until 10. So if you're up at 6 and you're posting, the 10 a.m. people are never going to see what you're posting that morning. So being really aware of when your people are online and when they're using Facebook will help you a lot in your posting. So there isn't really an answer of like, what's the best time to post or what's the best content. It all depends on your target market, and your target market's probably as weird as you are. So you have to pay attention to what they like and what the analytics say, and then follow along with those.
Healthy Aging just asked that. So
yes,
just to touch on that. I mean, if you Google best time to post on Facebook, they will show you a grid of when most people are online, when most people, like, it's usually midweek, midday. But Jessica has interesting stories because she had, moms with babies, they would be on at 2 o'clock in the morning. If I look at my insights, almost everyone, the biggest times are noon and 6. So it must be like after work or during lunch. And every single day is about the same for my little audience. Mostly Sundays are bad and Wednesdays are good. But again, it's going to really depend on the people that are following.
And you guys, if you don't know how to find insights, if you're launching a business page, you can always Google and say, how do I launch a business Facebook page? Just type it out and it'll show you a video. It'll give you a written script and explanation on how to do it. If you don't know where to find insights, Google it. Where do I find insights on my business page? That's the value of a business page. You don't get insights on a personal page. You get them on a business page. Jeffrey, I'm gonna let you do a quick closing statement. I'm gonna show everybody a quick video here.
And just a couple tips. If you're going to go live, I want you to tag people before you go live. Tag. It reminds them, oh my God, he's on. And I also want to say, do educational live things. What does that mean? I'll do like me and Sarah. I'll say, okay, Sarah and I are going to talk about fitness trends. And then I go live for 30 minutes, and it just brings people back to where you are. All of you know somebody that either is funny or has a tip or something. Go Facebook Live and bring them to your page. And then you can actually then sell them on what you really want to sell them on.
Love it. All right, guys. Very exciting. Here we go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will tell you, it's a little secret, this weekend we're having a Valentine's Day special, and it's actually going to be the lowest price you can ever attend a live stream mania for, because you know what Valentine's Day is about. It's about two people possibly sharing for the price of one. I'm doing a terrible job at this. All right, we're just going to say goodnight. Jeffrey, wonderful. Marisa, love you. Jessica, thank you for all sharing your insights. You do an amazing social media certification that's also assisted with Jeff Howard. Love you guys. See you at Livestream Mania. Mike Lieber, thank you for keeping us under control. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.